something.
Live.
Hey, everybody, we're live.
The holiday season. It's a time of peace and joy and love. And of course, panic.
Time's running out to conceal the contents of just about 1 million children's presents. Just ran in from a freaking blizzard. Can't find the tape, can't find the scissors. All out of paper, all out of bows, all out of tags. Who's is this? Who knows? I'm running on fumes. Just about empty, but look at that pile. It's way too many. Wait, I think I found a way out of this snag. Everything goes in a Christmas bag. Not gonna bother with this wrapping crap. And that's the end of this wrapping wrap. Stop. Wait, you got more?
You think you're done, but you ain't by half. You think those boxes is all there is to wrap. Those 2 boxes won't assemble themselves. No time to relax like the elf on the shelf. At least 50 parts go into that drone. Even the dog wants to open up a bone. Batteries go in half a dozen things. The trampoline man that came Sand Springs. You forgot the 9 gifts you hid in June. You can't put a bow around a psychedelic moon. You thought you were done, but you got no idea. Now get to work on the desk you bought from IKEA. Gift to your mother.
And that's how they invented Christmas stockings, kids.
1,000 Questions is an entertaining discussion of marriage. We aren't telling you to do or feel or change anything about your life. Really, just listen and enjoy. And if you need real help, find a professional for your specific problem. We don't know you. How could we speak to your deal? Okay, have fun. Okay, hey, welcome to Donna Wilburn, but not Joe Marlotti.
No, I'm just refusing to acknowledge Joe.
I refuse to because so
Joe,
can either of you tell me why I played that first video?
What first video?
The one you wouldn't recognize. Donna, do you have any
recognized
reason why
it.
I would have played that first video? Can you?
Because you're trying to promote yourself.
No, that's true. That's always true. But no, in this case,
it goes beyond that?
because if I wanted to promote myself totally, I would play a Halloween video because there's an announcement later. But no, because I want to ask a question about when your spouse has ideas about your work and how you respond to those ideas about your work. Because my wife, we were doing a Christmas album this year and we had all the songs. We were just about done. And she just came to me and said, "You have to do a wrapping rap." And I said, I don't know. I don't want it. It doesn't sound like a good idea. And she, no, this happens. This idea must happen. And I was like, oh, great. Yeah, we'll do a wrapping rap. I just had no faith in it whatsoever and just stuff like that. And then I was on doing the virtual show and she came in, Steve Goody, the guy to do stuff with, because he's a lot more talented than Joe. And I said, and she came in and said, "Okay, Steve, you have to do a wrapping rap. You guys will do a wrapping rap." And Steve was like, "Okay, great." And then the next morning, half of that song was done. And Steve sent it to me and said, "Okay, here's the wrapping rap." And then finally, after he did that, I was all on board. I said, "Yeah, this can be a great idea. This can be wonderful. You're right." So I wrote the second half and then we put it together and then I did the video and I think it turned out great. And I was kind of poo-pooing her because a lot of the time she doesn't have good ideas. Sometimes she doesn't, right?
So
where's the mix?
Where did you give her the credit then?
On the album. Everyone.
On the album, yeah.
It's on the end there. If you didn't see at the end there, it said from an idea by. I could play it again. Do you want to see it again? Yeah.
No.
No, credits on the album. No, it's there. No, you have to credit people who did that. It was her idea, and then we wrote it. So, but no, I just want to know about that question about reacting to people's ideas when they're your spouse and they're not. I mean, does your husband come talk to you about therapy people, therapizing?
Yeah, his ideas I will never do in counseling, ever.
What's that?
My husband's ideas.
Like what? What are his ideas?
I would never, ever once tell my wife how to do her job. And I don't think that she would ever, first of all, she has no interest in what I do anyway. And, but I don't think she'd ever tell me how to do it or even give suggestions for it. That's just not who she is. She's like, you do your thing, I'll do my thing. And then we'll spend the rest of our time in mad love. And that's how that works. Yeah.
Yeah. Our relationship is not as respectful So, according to my husband, I'm supposed to greet my clients with, "What's the problem now?"
Well, that is good advice.
No,
No,
no.
I'd say nothing's wrong with that. So or maybe just greet them like, "Oh, you again." That's another one. That'll work out well.
That'll fly. Yeah, that's the kind of feedback I get, and mine are really great ideas that I hear at least once a day. Is, "Oh my gosh, I should take your advice more often." I actually heard that today.
Oh,
I hear it like
yeah.
everything. I hear it.
Well, okay, so and I do have some things on my act that she kind of thought of an idea and I ran with it, a couple, but yeah, most of it's but I don't want to, but a lot of it, and it's, I don't know how to react sometimes when I know that it's horrible. You know what I mean? I don't want to hurt her feelings, but I also want to.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
but the fact that you tried to do something that your wife suggested and you said, "Yes, dear," is a very, very good job.
Yeah.
Well done.
Okay.
But the fact that you made it something that was the good that is even better. You know what I mean? So
Well, actually, in this case, Steve actually did it, and then I was on board after he did the first half. Of
Because
it.
Steve knows a good idea, right?
Steve is
That's right. Steve knows
Steve
a
is
good idea.
terrified
right
of Brad's wife.
That's
Terrified.
right, as he should be. So okay, so I don't know if you remember this from last week, but the question was, best way to tell him to get a life. Best way to tell your husband to get a life.
You let me know, because I'm still trying to figure that one out.
I would think the best way for a woman to tell her husband to get a life would be like, "You better get a life or I'm not going to be part of yours."
Oh, good one. Good one.
Thank you.
Setting
That's free.
a
That was free. No extra charge. Okay.
Yeah, but I just don't see. I'm going to give you an example. First of all, my in-laws, before they passed away, he retired just at like 55, 56 or 7 or whatever it was, 70. I don't know what it is, 60, young. And then he just went wherever she went and sat there.
Yeah.
They would go, she would clean everything, still do all the stuff she was doing. She never really had a paying job, but she worked every second of her life. And he would just go, and it was just kind of interesting to see him just kind of, and I know another guy that just moved out of our neighborhood. He's been retired. He does nothing. He goes, "No, I just get up. I worked for 35 years.
Well,
and
when you're
I'm
retired, you've earned that. I think this is when we're talking about like earlier in life where it's like, you got to do something because I'm the one pulling all the weight here. Maybe that's what that's what I got out of that question.
Or that still counts as when they're retired. They're supposed to do something.
Yeah, they're supposed to do something. But
No, when you're retired, you just do what those guys were doing. Just,
I'm not getting this as
No.
he's not making a living, that he's not. I'm getting it that he doesn't do any, doesn't have friends, doesn't have she wants to do other stuff and she's okay with stuff, but he does nothing else. But he has a job. He has.
Yeah,
he
get
doesn't have a life.
question. I hear he has a job, but he has like no hobbies, no friends,
Yeah.
no nothing.
Yeah.
And she can get nothing done, and he's always moping or doesn't do it. You know what I mean?
We're
Or-
projecting on this couple right now. You know that. We're really projecting on this couple.
Well, we
We've
have to
painted
project.
them.
Well, so
Yes.
Donna, 2 people come in. She's like, he's a freaking lump, and I'm doing this. How do you tell him to? How does she tell him to get a life?
Well, that's the thing. Like, you don't boss people around. I go, why are you bossing him around?
Yeah. Why don't you do that? Why don't you do a wrapping rap?
Yeah, okay. that's
Yeah. You don't boss. You
Wrap
shouldn't
them
boss your spouse around like that.
Well, but maybe he's also being incredibly annoying, or he's demanding that she not do stuff. Just
Well,
to be
that's a
sitting with-
different
That would be a problem.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
If
If
his
you're-
no life means he's up in her business trying to make her have no life,
Yeah.
that's a problem. But that still goes to bossing people around and controlling people.
every day. He
Enjoying, like, I've tried, guys. Like,
Do you know this guy, Brad? Because you really don't like this
every
guy.
day he takes a Viagra and just follows her around the house. That's what happens.
oh my God.
Honey, get a life. This is it.
If your black hole of nothingness is sucking somebody else across the event horizon, then perhaps maybe you do need some help. But if it's just, I mean, if she's upset that he's not doing anything, that's fine. But if it's infringing, only if it's infringing on what she's doing, I'd think, right? Yeah. Que sera, sera.
If he's
Yeah.
enjoying his doing nothing
Let them enjoy that doing of nothing.
Yeah, let them enjoy it. But if it's really getting in your face,
yeah.
with
If it's
the
holding you
Viagra,
back, is the point. Holding you back.
if it's poking you in the rear end as you're trying to clean,
Right.
or
And
do
these
anything
analogies
else,
are getting worse, Brad.
then you need to move on. You're right. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a good simile. It's like, okay. So this one is from a good friend of mine. Are you ready? This is so ethereal. Are you ready?
I'm all about it, ethereal in this.
You are a widower of 3 wives. By the way, I know a widower of 3 husbands, by the way, and all of their names were Bob. That is really weird. But you are a widower of 3 wives.
That's a
you are
career.
you are nearing death yourself. Who do you spend time with in heaven, and how do you expect to prioritize that time? So we're going to go with the Christian version of heaven, not to just you're dead, or that you went to hell and they went to heaven and you're stuck. But I've always asked this question of people who get remarried too, who are really big Christian, believe in that exact mansion of hell. I say, wait a minute, you married a second time, you married a third time. Who you hanging out with when you get to heaven?
I have never heard that question ever in my life.
Well,
Now
I mean,
you have.
Aren't there going to be like 40 virgins waiting for you?
72.
72. I can't. The numbers always escape me. So, I mean, what's 3 more? What's 3 more?
Well, these are not virgins. These are your ex-wives, and they're really going to be blocking you from the virgins, I think.
Good point. Good point there. Yeah. If you believe if you believe when you go to heaven that it's heaven, then there's not going to be anybody jockeying for time. You've got all the time. You've literally got all the time ever. So nobody's going to be like, hey, I'm not getting enough time with you, because you can literally say, oh, we've got time. So, Well,
my first question is, so everyone in heaven is Mormon? I think that's the first thing that we notice.
Well, we know that. We know that, yes.
You get married more than once, you're now Mormon when you get to heaven. So I don't know. This is why I think there's something else going on out there, because again, Joe, you say that, but that's still crap, because they're going to say, no, I want now. I don't want time later. I want freaking now.
Again, you're just thinking that heaven is going to be like it is on earth. But I think heaven would have to be somewhat better than earth. Otherwise, what's the point of doing good deeds your whole life to get there? And I think once you get there, it doesn't matter, because, I think heaven's going to be like one big orgy all the time. If that, that's what it's going to be like. No one wears clothes
anyway. I can't think of anything
anyway.
worse than a big orgy. I just can't think of anything I'd less like to do.
Okay, small orgy, 4 people, you and your 3 wives.
Yeah, with 3 wives and you, an orgy with. I had a thought once. What if when you died, you had to spend eternity with just the people you've slept with? So it's just you and the people you slept with in your life. How good would your life be in eternity? Because think of how you ended relationships, Donna, go.
So my belief is that our issues stay down here. We don't have issues in heaven.
Right.
That's not what I just asked you.
What happens on earth stays on earth.
What happened? Yeah, because she's in Vegas.
Yeah.
She's in Vegas.
Yeah,
All
no,
her
that's what I was going to say.
catting
Earth
around
is like
stays
celestial
in
Vegas. That's what it is. Yeah.
No, look, the whole question is goofy, so I'm making a next goofy step. You die, you go to heaven, you have to spend eternity with just the people you've slept with in your life.
Yeah.
How's your eternity go?
Oh man, I would have been like, I wish I would have done that way differently,
I would say,
by the way, that's vodka.
Very young. So does that mean I get to sleep with teenagers or like?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
20-somethings.
You're not sleeping with these people. You just have to spend eternity with them.
I thought it was do-overs.
No, it's not do-overs. It's whenever they die and you die, when you're all dead, you're in heaven and you're all stuck together for eternity. This could be hell, or it could be heaven.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like heaven to me, Brad. Again, your
concept. I didn't say heaven. I said when you die.
Of heaven. Everyone.
I did not say heaven. I said when you die, you have to spend eternity with just the people you slept with in your life. How would it go for you if that was what happened?
This is one of those ADD kid questions that little children go like, what if?
What if Eleanor Roosevelt could fly?
So what? Answer the question. Think about all the people
like that.
Sure you can. Think about all the people you slept with. Wait, think about all the people you slept with, how you got along with them, how the relationship ended.
We have done that, and that's why we're evading this question. We don't want to answer this question.
Okay, got it. Now
because
less.
it would not be good.
Oh, I'd
Yeah.
be fine with it.
But wait a minute now. If you're gonna, what about? Would it include all the people that they slept with too? Because
no, I haven't taken that step.
Well,
yet.
if
That's
you're
the
well,
next
you know
step.
what?
Yeah.
Flesh this out and get back to us. All right?
Because once you add that,
Yeah.
now you've got 100,000 people there. Because then you have all the people they slept with. No, this is just you and the people you slept with. Because it makes you think about how you ended your other relationships in your life. You know what I mean? Because, well, think about it. You have, maybe some of these wives were good. So did you end most of your relationships
Honestly,
on a good note?
if that happened, it would be their heaven.
Good point.
Yeah, like this show is our heaven, Joe.
It is.
It is. Oh my God. Okay.
This is the weirdest question,
trying to
Brad.
get
That was,
you guys
that was
to-
even more ethereal than the original question.
I know. It was. Well, that's what
That's
I
where
wanted.
Brad
to be.
goes.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay. All right. Well, then forget it. Forget all that wacky
Just-
stuff and let's
just
get to
forget
this.
it.
Okay, this is horrible. This isn't even a question. Don't expect your parents to stay together your whole childhood. Divorce happens.
Oh, somebody's angry. Somebody was angry. Yeah.
Somebody's angry. What?
Somebody
what
never got over that.
percentage-
Yeah.
What percentage of people get divorced anymore these days?
Gosh, I think it's over 50 now.
Is it?
I'll
Alexa,
Google it.
how many? What percentage of people get divorced?
I thought it was over 60
I didn't think it was.
in America.
In America?
It's still about 50. Alexa, stop. So it's still around 50. For second marriages, it's like 70.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
because
don't-
now
I
you know how to fill out the paperwork.
Well, I just don't think this. It's like also people saying, "What? Well, Hollywood, they never stay married." But that's not true. There's a ton of couples that stay married in Hollywood. You just don't hear about them because they have a good relationship.
Right.
So I don't think this is true. That this is just somebody who's angry at somebody.
Somebody's a little mad. Yeah. Somebody never got over their parents breaking up when they were young.
I guess the more income you have, the more likely you are to stay married.
Well, is it the parents they're mad at, or are they going to get rid of their spouse and they're telling their kids, "I'm done with this relationship"?
Well, what was the question? What was the statement again?
No
Brad?
question. Don't expect your parents to stay together your whole childhood. Divorce happens. It does sound more like a kid.
Yeah, it
but
sounds like
also-
maybe he was the reason they broke up. Let's move on.
Yes, because that's what okay, kids. If your parents break up, probably your fault. I think that's
Always say it.
Oh, that's
what
good.
Donna tells. What
Yes.
Donna tells most of her people.
That's that's a good thing to tell. If you're a child psychologist, just stick with that one.
Just blame it on the child. And,
Right. Blame it on the kid.
Yeah.
That does lead me to a question, Donna. Do you have parents that do that to kids? Make them think
Sure.
that they actually make them think it's them.
Yeah, I
That's
do.
sad.
Oh my God.
That's so sad.
Yep. And then
Let
we
Let me
like,
ask you a question.
because of you, we're fighting.
Yeah.
Because of you, won't do blah blah.
Oh my
Now me and your mom are arguing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I want
And all those
to
arguments, now me and your mom are getting divorced because you just wouldn't blah blah.
Oh, that's terrible.
See, could we go back to the heaven question? Because that is
Yeah,
just
really.
horrible. That makes me
Yeah.
want to cry.
I know.
And now Donna's laying back, going to do a little.
Yeah. She's like,
leaning,
oh,
That took a lot out.
getting all
yeah.
relaxed.
That was tough. That was a tough question to answer. That was
What
very
was your
serious.
I'm
question,
hiding
Joe?
with my hair.
Yeah.
You guys see this? Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
I decorated my monitor. I have this monitor thing.
Wait,
What kind of a
is it
monitor is
monitoring
that?
your
And why
heart?
did you show us your cleavage?
Wait a
What is
minute.
happening
wait a minute.
here all of a
Are
sudden?
you are you getting a pacemaker? What
Is that a pacemaker? What is that? Yes.
I am getting my heart monitored for 6 days
Why?
because I had a mini stroke.
When?
Well,
What?
a mini stroke is your
What?
head. Why aren't they
December.
monitoring your head?
I have I had well now it's managed, guys. My high blood pressure, but it was like 185 over like
Oh, wow.
75 or some crazy stuff, and I had no idea. I don't regularly take my blood pressure,
Yeah.
so
You
I
do now.
doing that, and then I popped.
Wait a minute.
I
So,
done
but,
popped.
so the blood pressure made you have a mini stroke. Ladies and gentlemen, please donate to this show. and
Yes,
Donna's
immediately,
medical
because
bills.
Donna
Oh my
obviously
God.
needs to bling up that monitor or whatever the
I
heck.
know,
I
right?
think
It's
the
like
monitor's pretty.
I used a Sharpie
Yeah.
Make it look like a flower.
Oh, it's very pretty. Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you.
you did
Thank
that.
I'm
you.
sure they're
So
pretty
wait a
happy
minute.
with you defacing that property. But are you are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay. You
A
look fine.
stroke relays
I am
brain.
fine.
Do you remember who we are?
Where am I?
Yeah. Are you
where
going
are
to
you
charge us
right
for
now?
this?
Yes,
Who are
we,
you?
yes. We're gonna get a bill now on this one. She won't remember. She won't remember. Well, gosh, that's your blood pressure was 180 over like 170. Your heart was
Yeah.
resting its ass off.
Yeah, that was like just straight up not even doing anything.
Joe, what's
Whoa.
your blood pressure?
What's that?
What's your blood pressure?
I just had mine taken recently because I had to get a COVID test, and it was the guy said it was like textbook, whatever textbook.
120 over 80.
It was just like it was 120 over
Mine
80, I
is
believe.
mine is always 120 over 80, except every time they do it, it's either 121 over 80 or 120 over 81.
Someone
They'll
gets
never
really stressy.
Yeah, mine was 120 over 80, and he was like, "Oh, that's perfect." And I was like, "Well, thank you very much."
My wife's
Mine
160.
they call alarms. So
My
they-
cholesterol is 700, but aside from that,
Well, but your SAT was
you
300.
take the good with the bad.
Yeah, so your cholesterol 700, SAT 300. Okay, so anyway, where were
Wait,
we?
let me ask a question, Brad. Can I ask?
Okay,
You guys have been married a while, and
we
know
have.
your wives may have had some incapacitating moments where maybe they were too ill to get up and do stuff, or they had a surgery and they had to recover from, or whatever it may be. What kind of nurses are you guys?
Oh, good question. I always let's see. Boy, that's a tough one. My wife has not had a lot of health problems, save one, and it was nothing that I could really help with, other than just be supportive. So it's not like I wasn't like slogging chicken soup and
She
everything
had
like that.
children. She
Wow.
had children.
What's that?
She delivered babies.
Who? My wife?
Yeah.
She did. Is that where they came from?
When women have babies, that's kind of a rough moment.
Oh, I could tell stories about that. Yeah. Actually, my wife did. She had postnatal.
Postnatal,
postpartum
postpartum.
natal depression. She had a postpartum in her
She
natal.
had postnasal drip.
She had
It was really
postnasal
wild.
drip, and she was depressed about it. That's what it was.
Yes.
Whew, thanks for clearing that up.
And you held that
Thank you.
Kleenex.
And I
into her
held, I held a
nose.
Kleenex. I offered the Kleenex to her. So I'm pretty helpful.
You are a helpful man. So okay, so
I think I just had a mini stroke.
we've
Not to
had
make fun of that.
we've had a few of these. One going back to the baby was that I took a lot of time off when she had the baby, and she had a lot of physical problems when she had the baby after, had a great pregnancy. And it also damaged our daughter's throat. So she couldn't suck for the first month. I had to feed her with my finger. And my wife was in such bad shape, she couldn't feed. So my wife was expressing breast milk.
Yeah.
And we just almost basically continued to do that after that, because she did latch on some, but after not too long, she didn't. So basically, I was up for most of the feedings, and she would say she was up for some too, and I was a night owl anyway. So I let her sleep most of the time, and I did all the feedings and stuff like that at night. And then she also went back to work after, 12 or 14 weeks, because she knew I was going to be there most of the time. Also, she got her tonsils out, and It was literally a month-long nightmare where she had to get up every hour at night for weeks to take these different pills, do this, do that. And luckily, her mom was still alive, so we did that together, take care of the baby and her at the same time. But now, whatever I can do, I do. You know what I mean? There's, I'll get anything. I'll go. I'm really good at going to get stuff and making
But
sure
do you
it's
wait?
there.
Do you wait till she asks you, or do you just go get stuff?
Well, if I know what we need, but sometimes
I'm
we have to know.
kind of the opposite end. I'm too attentive to the point where she tells me to get the hell away. So that's
Well, we all
kind of
do
how
that
that
to
is.
Joe. We end up telling him to get the hell.
Yeah,
away.
most people tell me to get away.
But that's one of
I
one of
can't
the
believe I'm still on
endearing
the
qualities
show.
you have.
Yeah, I know, it's true. So anyway, about the what you were talking about the when we had our first actually when we had both kids, she gave birth to two lovely daughters, and she had postpartum depression really, really bad. And I immediately said, you need a vacation. And I got her sister and her went on a vacation, and I sent them out and I said, I got the kids. Everything's fine. I'll take care of the kids. Fortunately, I have a profession where I could take enough time off to do that. So I did. And when she got back, one of them was in the hospital and I had lost the other one.
Yeah, that's right.
Oopsie.
Not
They
a
were,
joke.
they were
So,
two totally different children.
Yep.
But
So
she
that
didn't
was,
notice because she
yeah,
felt
things-
so good. She was like,
yeah. Yeah.
What,
She's like, you
one
know what?
kid or
I
another?
think I can suck it up. Yeah. So
I think I can suck it up.
That's the other problem is I try to help, but I'm really incompetent. So
That's right. Yes, I do everything I can badly.
yeah, but I mean well, right?
But I mean
Yes.
well. I'm there.
mean
I'm
well.
there. And they're like, we're gonna hire
Why do you
somebody.
ask, Donna?
Yeah.
I was
what the hell?
wondering because my husband seems to get really nervous if I'm like not doing well, and he will slowly back away. He like creeps away.
That's one way I'm the opposite. I don't get worried or nervous or scared about stepping in. Like, because my wife does get worried if, like, when the baby was little, if anything would happen, like she got something stuck in her throat. She was almost choking in Hawaii, and we didn't know what the hell it was. And my wife, she's really gets kind of, and I was like, we just going to check it out. I said, go to the phone, call and get some sort of medical up here. And, I picked her up and I'm like putting my hand in her mouth and reaching in, and she had found a sticker on the floor this big, like a dull banana sticker, and put it in her mouth, and it was stuck. So she wasn't actually, because she's like, do we Heimlich? I said, no, she's not. If she's that choking, there'll be no noise whatsoever. It'll be total silent. She can't, she's making noises. So we know she's breathing. And then I got that out. And one time she was chewing on a glass ball when she was like and she just bit right through it. It just cut her. And there's that mom sometimes panic where my child, and I'm always good at not going overboard in situations. Yeah. Sometimes I'm too calm. Oh,
you're apparently really bad at allowing your kids to play with the wrong.
No, I'm real. No. One time we're walking through a garage and she's on my shoulders and it's pitch black. And the guy didn't tell me there was a metal bar hanging from his garage just over the top of my head. And bong! She's like, all of a sudden she just goes, back. And I was like, what the hell? And he turned around. I said, what kind of idiot has a metal
walk
bar?
In the dark with your kid on your shoulders? What the heck?
We're just walking out the garage to the outside. Because she loves being on my shoulders.
In the dark.
Sure. Not now. She'd hate to be on my shoulders now.
Yeah, I would think so. That'd be tough on you.
So that's kind of I don't get out of sorts. When tragedy or crazy things happen, I may not be useful at helping, but I'm not like, panicking or stuff like that. Yeah. And she's from a panicky family.
Yeah. Is that because, I'm curious, Donna, if he just kind of slinks in the background, is that because maybe he thinks you're not going to appreciate what he does for you? Or maybe he thinks, I really don't know what the hell I'm doing here.
He's scared he's going to screw it up.
He's scared he's going to screw it up.
Yeah.
More so?
When I had that little mini stroke, and I was down on the ground and my right side, I couldn't move my whole right side. And
that sounds more than mini.
I'm yelling. I'm like, Victor, yelling. Someone. I was in our room and they were in the living room. He comes in. He looks at me and he looks all panicked and he just starts pacing.
Oh my gosh!
And he's just like, and then he calls for my son. Come help!
Yeah.
Your son called the ambulance.
Yeah. That's no. Yeah. Okay.
No. What'd you do? You go to the hospital?
It went away.
You didn't go get this checked out?
Not right away. No. I was perfectly fine. There was no residual, nothing.
But you could have bleeding somewhere in your head.
She's okay now, Brad. She's okay. She's talking to us. She's got a lovely thing on her cleavage, and she looks great. All right,
Joe, you're getting creepy, buddy. You might want to calm down on this.
No, I'm just saying.
This is the panicking one.
What's that?
Says the panicking one.
I am a panicker. I'm a panicker.
Not you. Brad's like, oh my gosh. And you're like,
Brad's more of a panicker. Yeah. So,
no,
I'm just glad you're okay.
Wow.
Because this show would suck without you.
Right.
We wouldn't have a show.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah,
I
I
might
guess
know other
I'm supposed to be
therapists.
the credibility of the show.
Yeah, she's the only one with any credibility whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay. Why? Oh man, this one. What is it with creepy idiots today? Why does in a marriage it's always 90% to 10%? The guy pays 90 and the girl pays 10. I take issue with that because I think it's just the opposite these days. Lazy bunch of griftless men, lazy, good for nothing men in the world right now.
What happened to the word our money? It's our money.
Yeah. Why don't you just pool it and then it's everybody's money? Who gets married and then keeps their own? Well, I guess people do.
It's just like, I'm paying for this.
But
Like,
you're asking for trouble if you're doing that, right? Because you're everything should be for you guys to have don't get me started on that. I know couples who still have separate accounts and it's a nightmare and they're
We know
miserable
one,
that they're still together.
We know one, Joe, and it's I just saw him post. It's a comic that we know from Carnival. Says, yeah, no, I pay for this, she pays for that. We've been together 20 years, and we make sure to keep it separate. And I was like, what the hell? You've been married 20 years and you're keeping it separate? What is it? Cigarette money you got to have? But
there's a whole problem with people in relationships not being able to transition from a me mindset to a we mindset.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah.
And that would be an example of someone who's not transitioning into a we mindset.
That's exactly who that person is, right?
Yeah. I had to transfer from a me mindset to a it's all you mindset. Yeah, you. We're you. We're
That's
you.
right.
We're not us. We're you. And I'm just gonna slip in there somewhere and try to figure that out. You know what I mean?
The me becomes like this big.
Yeah. Yeah, that just bugs me. First, and you got into it. You got, and I know, but I think it's just the opposite these days. Okay, so this next one's too gross. So let's do
what is too gross for us?
Nothing's too gross.
No, I'm going to tell you it at the end, and we'll start it next week.
Oh, perfect. Good.
Yeah, because it's really, it's one of those. It's one
Good.
of those.
I'm looking forward to
way
this.
too far. I got to check because. In 2 weeks, we're going to be off. So let me check. Where are we? April. Yeah, 21st, we're going to be off. But anyway, so next week we'll be here to do this question. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to share something, and we're going to do 6
discussion.
signs that your wife is totally fed up with you. 6 signs that your wife, there it is. 6 signs that your wife this is from Huffington Post. So be glad we didn't have to listen to a 2-hour ad before we saw it. And it's also crap. So here we go.
I will also try and think of Ariana Huffington actually reading these. Go ahead.
I got to tell you now. Okay, I can't do her whatever accent that is. Okay, 6. She sold Huff Post, by the way.
I know she did.
$300 million to AOL.
Oh, jeez, my God.
I know. Here we go. In a marriage. Okay, number 1. She seems to have changed overnight.
That means she hit her breaking point.
Yeah.
Is that right? Wouldn't you say, Donna? It's like overnight. It's like all of a sudden she's like, I've had it with this jerk.
She's over it overnight. Finally, one day she's like, I give up with this.
Yeah.
Does it describe how she changed? Let me see.
Marriage therapist Becky Whetstone said that husbands often come into her office
Blah, blah, blah,
and
blah,
tell her
blah.
that wives' demeanor has changed seemingly overnight. All too often, they picked up on the telltale indicators that their wives are fed up.
Well, this is one of those articles where they just keep writing the same sentence over and over so they can put more ads in it.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Many men don't notice when their wives have disengaged. So maybe it's not when she disengages, it's when he notices that she's disengaged. He doesn't even everything, and then suddenly one day he's like, "You're different. I've been different for a year and a half."
Yeah, that's very true. That could definitely be the case. It's like,
That
you're
is
not this,
very,
yeah.
very common. Very common that the dude is the last to know.
The dude is the last to know. I know.
She seems to have changed overnight. Yes.
It wasn't overnight, like you said. It was not overnight.
It was not. It's never overnight.
Never overnight.
I don't want to talk about it becomes a common refrain. I don't want to talk about it.
So this whole list, and this is a thing, okay?
These are good.
Even therapists say that if your relationship gets to this point, it's probably going to be done. When a person, they call it emotionally divorced. So these are signs that someone has emotionally divorced They're out, they're done. They just don't care anymore. They don't care to be mad. They don't care to be offended. They don't care if you're cheating. They don't care if you stay out all night. They don't care. They just don't care. And when it gets to that point, it's like, that one's might not be fixable.
Yeah.
Well, and
I
here's
think
my
this
thing.
one is an interesting one. It says, I don't want to talk about it when it becomes a common refrain. What about just shut up? Is it better or worse? I'm not.
No, shut up's better because that means they're angry.
Yeah.
If you still have emotional response, at least there's something there.
Yeah.
But when they really don't care, they're just like, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. What about put the gun down? Is that bad if that's a common refrain?
If that's the common response to what you
No, how about honey, that gun's loaded?
Yeah, that's another one.
That was
Those
honey,
are
that
bad.
gun's loaded. Is that's you then you know she's totally fed up with you if you're.
Well, these first two make sense. I get it. I get it now. Yeah. So.
Well, but my thought is, if she said, if I don't want to talk about it becomes a common refrain, how'd you get past the second one of those, where you're like, why haven't you talked about it? How did you get through 15 or 20? I don't want to talk about it. That you didn't talk about it. You know what I mean?
When do you
You've obviously done a lot of
common?
Yeah. You've obviously heard I'm not going to talk about it a lot. The first time, though, you should have said, well, no, we kind of need to talk about it. And you should have talked about it. And you should have fixed it.
Right.
You know, how many times did you not fix it? Okay.
Well, Donna doesn't like this. She just left. I'll just give you an idea how bad this is. Actually, how about this? How about
she's off? Do it. Yeah. She's off. Are you on the floor, Donna?
She's gone.
Which side of your body is it this time? Which
again.
Side? Is it right or left?
Age lighting. My lighting.
If you say to your wife, honey, it seems like you've changed overnight, and she says, I don't want to talk about it, then I think she's fed up with you.
What if you says, honey, you seem like you've changed overnight, and then you notice, oh, you're actually a different person. This is you're not even the same woman. What happened?
Not the same lady.
And your wife walks in and goes, see, look, I told you, it's been a different woman for a month now, and you haven't even noticed. That's Sheila. That's my friend Sheila. You haven't even noticed.
That's not even.
It's not even me. It's Sheila, for God's sakes.
Sheila living with them. You didn't even know.
Sheila's been here for a month. You haven't even noticed the difference. Which is why you barely touch anymore.
Yes. You barely touch what anymore?
You barely touch anymore. Yeah, yourself. You're touching yourself a lot more.
Each other? Is that what they meant? Each other? I don't know what that means. Yeah. So, yeah. I guess what are they saying? Some sort of like physical intimacy is waning. Is that what you're trying to say?
If you barely touch, I'm thinking barely intimate also.
How about you get your hands slapped away a lot? Hey, she ain't get out of here. Get that.
Or the sly, can I hold your hand? No.
You get that Trump, that Trump and Melania thing. You know, Trump.
We saw that a lot for the past 4 years.
Yes, we've seen a lot of this for 4 years.
Don't touch me. Yeah.
I wonder if it's weird in the White House to have the first couple actually sleeping in the same bed again. They only have to clean one room. They don't have to clean extra bedrooms. So
it's also nice to have vicious dogs in the White House.
Oh my God, the dogs attack. Well, and that little dog. Why are they letting people who don't know anything about dogs?
I think we're off point here. I think we should probably.
I know.
All right.
I think they're barely touching that dog anymore.
That dog changed overnight.
It did. Major changed overnight. I can't believe it. It didn't get it. It didn't get it. So it feels like you're living parallel lives. We're living vertical lives. It's really weird. We're living.
That's perpendicular, Brad. That would be perpendicular.
That's
that's a timeout as well, if you put it like that. So
horizontal.
We're parallel living, lives. It could be like this, or it could be like this. But parallel. I get that, and they never intersect. That's actually very well worded.
Yeah, we're living octagon lives.
Right, and they never intersect. They like that little add-on there, like parallel lives that never intersect.
Yeah. Maybe it's you're living parallel lives. Maybe that's when instead of saying get a life, it means you have a life, but it has nothing to do with your spouse. You know,
we're living two ships that pass in the night.
Exactly. Everybody, yes.
Don't honk at each other even.
Yes.
And no touching.
And this one, I would say there's a gray area, like you're supposed to have your own hobbies and stuff, but not totally parallel. Maybe more like, I don't know, 90 degree, but maybe a little smaller, like 45 degree angle, or like, you know.
Yeah, if you have no idea what your spouse is doing, then that might be part of it. That might be a problem.
Right.
Yeah, like the first question where she said, how do I get him to get a life? Well, live parallel and then you'll be fine.
Okay.
All you talk about is the kids and household logistics. That's a
This
thing.
is no quality communication whatsoever. No quality communication.
Now, there is times in your life that because you're so busy and the kids are so doing so many different things, it feels like this is all you're doing. There are times in your life where you're like, we have to take a vacation. We have to get out. We have to do something because we have just spent the last 3 months, 4 months of our life talking only about the kids and about what this house is and what we're planning and stuff like that. So
sometimes that is pretty much your whole life, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's not a sign that she's fed up with you when your whole life, because this is your whole life right now. You don't want it to be that.
If you guys have committed to a family and all you talk about is your family, I don't think that means you're fed up with each other.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but
I'm
like,
not on board with
you
that.
don't talk about if neither person is talking about anything deeper than logistics, not like what they're stressed out about or if they're tired, if they have
Oh,
kids.
I get it. Yeah. What if you're tired of your kids and your household logistics? Then
Just
see.
talk about it and you're good.
Yeah.
What are the 6 signs you're fed up with your kids?
That's another one. That's another
Completely
show,
That's
Dr.
completely
Dr.
different.
Sherlock,
Where
whatever.
did we say this? So one more thing on this is the fact that if there aren't those things to talk about, and that's all you're talking about. I think it was a comic. I can't remember who did a bit about the fact that they were about to get a divorce and they would be fighting terribly. And then their kid would do something cute and they'd be like, oh, look at that. And then they would talk about how cute the kid was for 5 minutes. And then then they'd be fine for 5 minutes. And then they would be hateful and awful again. So, oh, I love this. Love this one. She makes casual, snide remarks at your expense.
Yes.
That's like marriage.
No, that's you. That's your marriage.
Oh.
When this happens, I mention it and I ask that it not happen.
Seriously? Are you really that insecure that you can't take a ribbing from your wife?
No. If it's
It's
cute, and it's a
snide
ribbing.
remarks. Like, how do you not make
No.
snide remarks?
Okay, so
Seriously, how can you not joke with your
minute.
with your spouse? Especially if you're a comedian.
There's a difference between joking and snide. Snide to me is aggressive
Okay.
and it's more belittling and uses maybe name calling or something like that.
And maybe funnier than something you would say?
No. Funny is fantastic.
Belittling is funny.
Calling you
Hysterical.
out. No, calling you out, great. But if it's something where like
If it's something that angers you, that makes it snide, right?
not anger. If it's something that is
mean.
mean-spirited.
Yeah.
It's like you can make fun of anything, but what's behind it? And you're right.
Funny.
Foibles, stuff like that, great. But because we had a thing starting out right when we met, I said, I will never call you names. I'm not going to call you stupid. I'm not going to call you the B word. I'm not going to say these things because I don't think that's how you deal in marriage.
Right.
And because one time she said, well, stop being an idiot or something like that. And I said, you don't get to call me that kind of stuff. That's just not how
But it's accurate.
Of course. That's why I don't let you do it. It's totally true. It's totally true. I don't know. It's just
I
my
make
thing.
these remarks like that's my MO. Okay, like that's my whole nature.
And hence, when you're having a stroke, he walks out on you. So I think we've learned something.
See, what goes around comes around.
What goes around comes around. I think we've learned something. So
Actually, you know what? I think these were all pretty good. I mean,
Yeah,
these
this
were
wasn't
all
bad at
good,
all.
good things that you
a
could
lot
definitely.
better than usual, let me tell
Yeah.
you. Okay.
My question is, if you do see these signs, and if she is fed up with you, is there any way that you can change that, turn that
They're
around?
hungry again.
Yeah.
What do you
You'd
think?
have-
I mean, I would immediately start by touching her more everywhere. You know,
Yeah, it's
especially
not
when she doesn't want it.
Right,
Really,
exactly.
when she's mad.
yeah, annoying, just constant.
No. Okay. Joe, be quiet and let her tell us.
you're
how
going to
do
get hit with a frying pan on your head if you do that.
How do you do it, Donna?
It takes a lot of work, guys. Like I've had these kind of couples, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Both of them would have to be willing to transform
Mhm.
to really change. And usually in situations like someone just wants to blame someone. So
Yeah.
like it's all their fault I'm like this.
Well, it took a long time to get there. It's going to take a long time to get back.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, even though it seems overnight to him, that's part of the problem.
And you got to be willing to change. You got to be willing to look at yourself and go like, I need to change that. If you're not willing to look at yourself, no therapy works.
That's right. Oh, I know. So, okay, now I'm going to promote myself, and then we'll have the question for next week.
Ooh, Igor, this is not my match. The vampire's ball is a swanky affair.
Master, I brought the shovels.
Good, Igor, good. And did you bring my latte?
Yes, master. Skim milk, 2 Splenda.
Good, Igor, good. Let's get started. Oh, yes, Igor, yes. Raise the platform. It's time.
Well,
Hiding from ghosts. We're hiding from ghosts. Oh man, I think we're toast. We're hiding from ghosts.
Come inside.
Okay, so big news, and that is June 14th through June 27th. Steve and I will be doing 13 live shows at the Brighton Fringe, Brighton, England, but they will all be live streamed, live ticketed shows. Go to ultimatehalloweenparty.com for information, although there isn't that much there right now, but it is all coming out. 13 live shows. Everyone must come. Okay, so Joe, do you have anything coming up you want to tell us about?
I'm heading to San Antonio for a big corporate show tomorrow, so that'll be fun.
We can't go to that.
Yeah.
You can't go to that.
You can't go to that.
What corporation?
I'm working though. I just want everybody to know that I'm actually going to be working. So that's
big
pretty
money,
exciting.
big money corporate.
Hey, it doesn't suck, so that'll be great.
Wow, you're
it'll
making
be
like
fun.
$5,000. I like that.
Yeah, I wish. So, but it'll be good. I get to eat at the buffet for free.
Yeah, I'm doing an open mic at the Comedy Attic in Bloomington tomorrow. So,
there you go.
Yeah, we'll see that. Okay.
Yeah,
here it
I'm
is.
vaccinated now, so I should probably start doing getting up
Fully
on stage
vaccinated.
again.
I have one. I'm judging a food contest. I'm judging a chef. It's for charity. Chefs making dishes, and I get to be one of the judges.
Oh, that sounds like a gig and a half right
That
there.
sounds
How do you get
fantastic.
that?
For me, you harass people. That's how
Good
you-
enough.
Remember, eat the stuff that helps your blood pressure. Okay.
Yeah, right. Well, they're
So-
healthy dishes. That's the
That's
thing.
what I'm saying. It's got to be healthy for you.
Oh,
Okay,
good
here we
point.
go. This is gross. How do you get more, the second letter of the alphabet and J's from your wife? How do you get more of those oral thingies from your wife? That is going to be next week, kids. Hey,
I
if you
can't
wanna
wait to hear
support
the
us-
answer for that.
If you want to support us, please do. Hey, if you go to my Venmo and donate to the show, I'll give half of it to Joe. How's that sound?
I'll
right,
give all of
yeah.
it to Donna. She needs it more
And
than I
Donna-
do. Yeah, that's yeah.
Donna's
Donna's-
medical bills.
Donna's
Yeah.
rich. You
Yeah.
got insurance. Not crazy. Okay, bye, guys.
See ya.